Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. So we welcome everybody for the Sunday afternoon Bhagavatam class. It's changed to Bhagavatam sessions. First of all, I would like to thank all those who helped us last week and the last few days, few weeks for the Bhadra Purnima Srimad Bhagavatam set distribution. So I thank everyone who participated and who desired to participate also. I thank them because they at least had a desire. So I thank them also. May Lord give you the strength that you can practically also participate next year. From our youth class, which we do on every Sundays, we could at least contribute, or some of them purchased also Bhagavatam. So we could do at least 15 sets of Bhagavatam. That's a good number. We plan to do more next year, and get a ticket to go back to Golok Vrindavan. Many of us absolutely don't have any faith in these words that ये सब बेचने का स्कीम ऐसा लग रहा है आप लोग को. But we forget that today we are going to discuss the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, which our Narottam Priya Prabhu was taking last Sunday, right? The first verse of Bhagavatam. कुछ दिखाने नहीं वाला हूँ, मेरे पास कोई presentation नहीं है. दिखाऊंगा अभी, है कुछ मेरे पास. So in that there is he finished on Abhignana, right? And he said that Swarat will be the next Sunday's discussion. The word Swarat. What does the word Swarat mean? Without looking into your phones and your books, anybody knows the word, the meaning of the word Swarat? Independent. The one who is all independent is the name, is the word Swarat. So, how many of you have read the first verse, translation, and purport? पढ़ के आए आज. बहुनाम जन्मनाम अन्ते. Some very rare. मनुष्य नाम सहस्रेषु. Rare person within entire assembly. बाकी लोग क्या कर रहे हैं आज? What is the purpose of your visit? Just to show me your face, and you can do a video call also. Why have you come? What is the purpose? We can read. You know that today's discussion is first verse of the Bhagavatam. How many of you know that? Yeah, my first verse of Bhagavatam discuss करने वाले हैं. पता है ना? You can read and come. Just one verse. एक ही verse है. Prabhupada has given translation for more than 6-7 pages. एक verse का. So you could have read that and come. See, I'm just opening my Bhagavatam. Just from page number 44 to page number 52. Eight sides. The 7 sides, 51. 6-7 sides of just explanation on the verse 1. You could have read that. Because whatever I speak will not make any sense to you. मतलब it will be just I'm speaking, but जैसे मैंने कहा ना स्टार्टिंग में कुछ भी बोलूँगा क्या फर्क पड़ता है because आप रिलेट नहीं कर पाओगे. सो ये जो मैं स्टेटमेंट बोल रहा हूँ कि भद्र पूर्णिमा का ये बेनेडिक्शन है, देयर इज अ बेनेडिक्शन इन द Bhagavatam that one who gives a set of Srimad Bhagavatam or purchases one's own self after placing on the golden throne will get a chance at the end of their life to go back home, back to God. This statement is absolutely true because it comes from the words of huh? Brahma. Bhagavatam comes from Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam comes from where? तो मुझे पता है Bhagavatam से आ रहा है. Bhagavatam comes from there. Huh? Krishna spoke the Bhagavatam. Are you sure? Krishna didn't speak the Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva? This Vyasadeva recited the Bhagavatam. Okay. Who spoke the Bhagavatam? Sukadeva Goswami spoke the Bhagavatam to whom? Parikshit Maharaj. Okay. But what is the source of Bhagavatam? What is the source of Bhagavatam? Source. जैसे यहाँ पे लाइट आ रही है तो उसका कोई मेन पावर हाउस होगा, यहाँ से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट हो रहा है तो यहाँ पे लाइट आ रही है. आप बोलेंगे वहां से लाइट आ रही है वो स्विच से नहीं. सोर्स क्या है? व्हाट इज द सोर्स? हाँ, Krishna. Krishna himself is the Bhagavatam, source of Bhagavatam. Anybody else? Somebody said Brahma also. What is the source of Bhagavatam? Okay, you all, how many of you are carrying the Srimad Bhagavatam with you? Hmm. Okay. Before we start, we'll just recite some prayers. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswati Vyasam. ततो जयामुदीरयि नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. So that's the first verse of Bhagavatam on your screen, which is verse number 1.1.1. So we'll recite together. Last time हमने recitation किया था, right? Does anyone know the meter? Meter समझते हैं? हाँ, rhythm, tempo. Does anyone know? हाँ, कहाँ से आवाज आ रही है? हाँ, start. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, वो भी लिखा है वर्स में. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. जन्मादस्य यतो अनयादितरश्चतर्श्व अभिज्ञास्वराट्. Wait. जन्माद्यस्य यतो अनयादितरश्चतर्श्व अभिज्ञास्वराट्. यतो अनयादितरश्चतर्श्व तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुयन्ति यत् सूरया. तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुयन्ति यत् सूरया. तेजो वरीमृदं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो तेजो वरीमृदं यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा. धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्ता धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. So last time we did the first line. पहला line किया था, उसमें last word बाकी था, swarat, which we will discuss something today. Then what's the second line? ते तेना ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरया. What is the meaning of this line? Who has imparted? Yes. So Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita also, where 15 chapter verse number 15. What is the verse? 15.15 वर्स क्या है? मैं ऑप्शन जीवन लोग है क्या? हाँ, क्या है 15.15 वर्स? सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सानिविष्टो मता स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च. आगे बोलो. वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेद विदेव चाहं. What is the meaning? So he says, I am seated in everybody's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridisani nishto. Mata smritir gnanam apohanam cha. I am the cause of your remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Vedescha sarve mahaveva vedyo. I am, by all Vedas, I am to be known, and I am the compiler of Vedas. And I am the knower of the Vedas. So Vedescha sarve mahaveva vedyo. Vedanta krit veda vedeva. I am I am the knower of all Vedas also. And the same person, again, Vyasdev, in the verse of the uh, first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam is saying, after addressing as Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and then he says, Janma Rasya Yataha Anyad Itaras Chatarashva. So here, last time, sorry, last time, Natum Prabhu already in detail mentioned that he's offering obeisances and he's referring to Krishna, uh, who is the son of Vasudev. Okay, he's referring to a personality uh, who's the original person, who is the son of Vasudev, that is Vasudev. He's referring to him. He is Janma Adi. He's the source of all the creation, sustenance, and destruction. Yaad aaya kuch? He is saying, no? Notable was mentioning that for a person to be God, he should be the source of everything. Creation में उसके हाथ में होना चाहिए, destruction में उसके हाथ में होना चाहिए, maintenance भी उसके हाथ में. तो ब्रह्मा कौन है? What did he say last time? Brahma कौन है? Brahma is the secondary creator. Brahma is the Narada is asking in the second canto to his father Brahma. He's saying, "Eko बंद कर दीजिए." He's saying, he's telling, okay, my dear Lord, how did you create? My dear Father, how did you create? आपने creation कैसे किया? And if you are not the creator, then who is the creator? So, which are the five elements with which Brahma creates? Bhumi, Rapor, Analo, Vayu. Okay, he said, so I create with these five elements. ये five elements को किसने create किया है? I've created. Okay. He's saying कि ये five elements मैं बनाता हूँ, but ये five elements को मैंने नहीं बनाया है. That's why I am the. And he gave an example, na? If some builder wants to make a building, the land is already there. Did he create the land? The land is already there. So भूमि, अपो, अनलो, वायु जो भी है, वो land का composition वो सब है वहाँ पे. But वहाँ पे एक structure बनाया. That is a secondary creator. The builder cannot say कि ये building मैंने ही बनाया है. मतलब right from I am the source of everything. So now coming back to the second line. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muyanti Suraya. Tene Brahma Hridaya. I, in the heart of Brahma, imparted this. It is okay. He says that it is he who imparted. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living. So the words of the Supreme Lord cannot be untrue. They cannot be untrue. Though he may cheat, right? Last Sunday was Vaman Dwadashi, and Prabhuji was mentioning that how Vamandev come as a dwarf, incarnation. भगवान एक बोना बन के आए थे, dwarf, and you can never imagine कि a dwarf can cover the entire creation. So he can come in the disguise of a cheater, but his statement cannot be the words that he speaks cannot be untrue. Okay, so there's a benediction of Srimad Bhagavatam on Bhadra Purnama is also not untrue. We may want to analyze. We may want to say कि अरे कहाँ यार टिकट नहीं मिला तो 6,300 6,700 7,000 8,900 गया. Some people think like that, but this is not untrue. We have to have a strong faith to understand. We see so many evidences in the scriptures that what the Lord speaks, he that's absolutely correct. And of course, we have had a first-hand experience of this because we've all read the Bhagavad Gita, right? We've all attended. We are all now 10th pass students. है ना? क्योंकि Bhagavad Gita is like schooling. अभी हम सब 11th स्टैंडर्ड में आए हैं. आप कौन से स्टैंडर्ड में हो? 11th में, no? Right. So we are all with you. We are all with you. We are in the 11th standard right now. हम just अभी कॉलेज में एंटर हुए हैं भागवतम को लेके. Just come with. See, this is a very serious discussion. This is a very serious session. I had a lot of contemplation on whether I should start this or not because in my previous 2-3 experiences I've never started it. And I just finished Bhagavad Gita and I restart Gita. That's it. But this time I thought, okay, at least for my own study, I should start the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so I made you all the instrument. You understand? It is just for my own study. I was telling Chaitanya Prabhu, Prabhuji, if I don't teach Bhagavatam, I'll never read Bhagavatam nicely. So, like one of the lectures I was hearing of His Grace Kamalochan Prabhu, he was mentioning to read to learn anything nicely, one has to teach, one has to preach. So I'm a very selfish man, and I've just arranged this Bhagavatam Sunday classes so that I read the Bhagavatam. So before coming today, I read 3-4 books. I saw what is mentioned here, what is mentioned here. But on any other given Sunday, I would never do that, because so it very helps me. Sometimes when you want to do something, if you don't have the inspiration to do it, you just put yourself in that, then automatically the pressure will make you do it. So like I came at 10 o'clock in the BYC office thinking 1 घंटा बैठ के कुछ बनाऊंगा. Then I got a call, unknown call, Pitu Praksha, Annadan, आप क्या करते हैं? Whoever that was, she took away my 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes. Then after 5 minutes again she messaged me, the payment is failed. Then I did a test transaction. Again sent her a reply. Gone, 45 minutes gone. It's 10:45. अभी मैं क्या बनाऊं, क्या बोलूं लोगों को? So this is the thing. God has a plan behind your plan. That is why He is Swarat and we are not. We are not independent. He is independent. He is absolutely independent because he doesn't have to take a, like yesterday. I was hearing the Bhagavatam class in the evening by again Prabhu. He was singing the. No, he was covering the 7th chapter of the 2nd canto of Bhagavatam, where it mentions that the Lord descends in different incarnations, and one of the incarnations is the incarnation of Varha. Which is that Varha incarnation? कहाँ से आया आवाज? बोर incarnation. बोर बोलेगा तो pig. कैसे दिखता है? How does a pig look? किसी ने पिग देखा है या नहीं? देखा है ना? हम सब मुंबई में रहते हैं. स्लम्स हम स्लम के बाजू में हो या नहीं, पर स्लम हमारे बाजू में जरूर आ जाता है. नाला हमारे बाजू में हो या नहीं, पर हम it automatically comes. So have you seen pigs? How do they look? कैसे दिखते हैं? हाँ, ब्लैक दिखते हैं. कैसे दिखते हैं? मतलब ब्यूटीफुल, अट्रैक्टिव होते हैं? नहीं, अट्रैक्टिव नहीं होते. और अगर उन लोग आवाज निकालते तो कैसा आवाज निकलता है? सुरीला आवाज होता है? नहीं, सुरीला आवाज नहीं. जैसे कोयल is very black. If you find koel, try searching for koel, sometimes you'll not be able to find. But the sound of koel is very, very sweet, very sweet. It touches your heart. Similarly, peacock is very, very beautiful. It opens. The sound may not be beautiful that much, but boar is not beautiful and not sounding also sweet. But the Lord comes in that form. The Lord comes in the form of the boar, Varha, to lift up what? Earth from where? From the lower planetary systems. He fights with whom? Hiranaksh, who's a brother of Hiranyakashipu. They are originally Jai Vijay. वो शोले वाले जय विजय नहीं, शोले में जय विजय था ना, जय और वही. So the Lord comes as a incarnation of a boar. who is not so attractive, who is not sounding so sweet, stays in a filthy place, But in that form as a boar, he's the most attractive, beautiful, because he is Swaraj. He's independent to come in that form. If you do a drama, and in drama, if you become a boar, nobody would even look at you. After that, nobody will come and take a selfie with you also, because you are a boar. Who would want to take a selfie with a boar? But if you become peacock, like I had gone to see a show, and they had become a peacock. So even though they were humans wearing peacock costume, but they were looking still beautiful because they had feathers and things like that. So the Lord is independent, and in that independence, He doesn't need. The reason that He gives is that because of my tusk, I needed to lift the earth. Earth. If you read the Shavtar Shrotam, it mentions that the Lord carries the earth like a moon, which is placed on His mouth. Looks like a moon, small pearl. So to lift up. So the Lord comes in that form. So yes, I was mentioning that yes, He is the one. It is only He who imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. Original living being. So the source of uh, this knowledge is the Supreme Lord Krishna Himself. Okay? Actually, this word Swarat also, if He is not independent, can He have all the can He have all the knowledge if He is not independent? Are you following? इंडिपेंडेंट मतलब स्वयं सब कुछ ज्ञान होना चाहिए ना. ऐसा नहीं कि you have to refer like मेरे ऐसा you have to refer so many books or you have to come for a class and hear. Okay, Brahma, when he comes on the lotus stem and he just meditates, he gets knowledge within the heart from the Supreme Lord. That itself also proves that the Supreme Lord is fully independent. He's not dependent like us. Like over here, there's this verse over here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, you can recite after me. Ara ekakariya cha param pramada. Ara ekakariya cha देहादेहि भेदा ईश्वरे कैला अपराधे So very simple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that if you distinguish between the body and the soul of his lordship, like sometimes if you see that the deity that is there and the Lord that is there is different, it's not the same, then it's an offense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying it's an offense. You are completely in illusion, for you have distinguished between the body and the soul of the lordships, Lord Jagannath or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is a great offense. So uh, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. It is not, and even when Brahma says in the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha, his Vigraha is Sachid Ananda. Okay, it is not like us. That's why our soul is also Sachit Ananda. When we get liberation, when we go back home, back to Him, we also come to our independent status, because our body also becomes Satchidananda. But right now we are not. We are not independent. We are completely dependent. So the end over here it mentions that according, can somebody read? Kuldeep, can you read?
According to consideration of Mayavadi, Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts a material body when he appears in the material body. A Vaishnava, however, knows perfectly well that for Krishna, Lord Jagannath, or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, unlike for ordinary human beings, there is no distinction between the body and the soul. Even in the material world, his Lordship retains his spiritual identity. Therefore, Lord Krishna exhibits all appearances even in his childhood body. There is no distinction between the body and the soul of Krishna, whether he is in the childhood body or his youthful body. He is always identical with his body. Even though Krishna appears like an ordinary human being, he is never subjected to the rules and regulations of the material. He is the Swarat or fully independent. He can appear in the material world, but contrary to the offensive conclusion of the Mayavadi, he has no material body. In this connection, one may again refer to the above mentioned verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Ekta dishana visheshya prakristo api tadguna na
Sorry, read.
युज्यते सदात्मा यथा बुद्धि तथा आश्रय. The Supreme Person has an eternal spiritual body. One tries to distinguish between the body and the soul of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So, Supreme Person has an eternal spiritual body, but tries to distinguish between the body and the soul is comes a great offense. So yes, Krishna is all powerful, like we see last time Prabhuji was mentioning that a 3-month-old child or a 5-day-old child cannot even see what to speak about killing someone. Krishna at 5 days, when he was 5 days, he killed Putana. Okay, he could kill, he killed Putana, and because of which it shows that Krishna is not different. Of course, my this has changed. I'll just change this. Font has changed. So Krishna is Swarat. He is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. There is no other cause that is existing beyond him. The controller of everything. Can you read again? Om Sh-
Conditional soul, conditioned soul, beginning from the Brahma who engineered the entire universe, down to the insignificant and are all created, but none of them are independent of the Supreme Lord.
Yes. So conditioned souls, beginning from Brahma, who engineers the entire universe, down to insignificant and are all creating, but none of them are independent to Supreme Lord. None of them can create independently anything which is not supplied by the source of the Supreme Lord. Bhagavad Gita 7.7. Does anyone remember? 7.7. Hmm? Very famous, quite a famous verse. No, no. You can decide after me. You have the 7.7 open. Mata parataram nanyad kiste kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam shute mani ganaiva. Says, O conqueror of the wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Everything is resting on the Supreme Lord. We see this kanthi that we wear or mala that we wear or chapamala. There is a small thread which is going through, which we don't see sometimes. Okay, but that is the one that is holding everything. Again, 9.6 mentions all wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of the God, and all of them subordinate to the supreme will. They are subordinate to it. see the source. The, where the seventh chapter mentions in multiple places about his independence. Can somebody read the translation to 7 point translation and sorry purport? Can somebody read the purport to 7.7? I'll just show right now if you have it open. Purport to 7.7 Bhagavad Gita.
There is a common controversy over whether the supreme absolute truth is personal or impersonal.
Yeah.
As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. This verse in particular is stressed that the absolute truth is the person, that the personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth. Also, the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vishnu. That is the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna. He is the primordial Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete wisdom and knowledge. These are the authorities leave no doubt that the absolute truth is the supreme person, father of all knowledge. The impersonalists, however, argue from the strength of the Vedic version, which is Shirkashmir Upanishad, we get ततो यद उत्तराधरं च अल्पम् आरभ्य यत् या एतद् विदुर अमृतस्मिन् भवन्ति चेति विष्णु एवं the material world, Brahma, the singular living entity, is universe and understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods, human beings, and the Varahi. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendent who has no material form and is free from all material contamination. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendent, but those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world. The impersonalists put more stress on the word Alukam, but this Alukam should not be personal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, truth, and knowledge, as described in the Samhita quoted above.
Okay. Now let's come to 7.12. Can you come to 7.12? ये चैव सात्विका भाव
ये चैव सात्विका भावा
राजसस्तमश्च ये
राजसस्तमसस्ते
मता एव तान् विधि
मता एव तान् विधि
नात्वहं तेषु ते मयि.
नात्वहं तेषु ते मयि.
So Krishna is saying that everything, all the three gunas are coming from me, but I am independent of them. I am not affected by them. Know that all the states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. My energy is generating that. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not affected by those three modes of nature. I am not under the modes of the material nature, for they are for they, on contrary, are within me. If he is affected by the modes of material nature, then he cannot be above them. You understand logic? If he is affected by the modes of nature, then he cannot be above them. But he confirms this in the end. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on contrary, are within me. They are under me. They come from me. They manifest from me, but I am not manifesting from them. Let's read the translation, the small one. All material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. We are all governed by these three principles. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject to them. For instance, under the state laws, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, but Krishna is not subjected to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna. Generally, we know nirguna means somebody who doesn't have guna. But over here, nirguna has the real meaning. You read that. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas are modes or modes, although missing from him or although issuing from him, do not affect him. They do not affect him. In fact, in Sanskrit, one word doesn't have only one meaning. It has multiple meanings. Nirguna also means unlimited gunas. Okay, it has different meanings and different. That is how Sanskrit word has to be in the context that word has to be read. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Over here, it mentions that the Nirguna, therefore he is Nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. They do not affect him. So the first verse will take quite a lot of time. So this we saw. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaya. If it is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge under the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. Srila Prabhupada mentions the purport. Here it is stated that Supreme Lord inspired the secondary creator, Brahma, in order that Brahma could carry out his creative functions. So, the supreme intelligence behind all creations is absolute Godhead, Shri Krishna. This is not here. That is one who is getting inspiration. So Brahma explains this to Narada how the Lord imparted knowledge to him. This is what comes in the second canto of the Bhagavatam. Brahma in turn instructs this to Narada. Narada then, that's the first, you know, handshake. Do you know the first handshake? Do you know the first handshake? The first handshake was between Brahma and Vishnu. Who else was there? Who else was there? Nobody else was there. So Brahma is saying, and seeing Brahma present before him, the Lord accepted him as a worthy to create living beings, to be controlled as he desired, and thus, being much satisfied with him, the Lord shook hands with Brahma and slightly smiling addressed him thus. Sripad Prabhupada mentions anyone, however, preaching the mission of the Lord in the line of Brahma Sampradaya is always dear to the Lord. And the Lord, being satisfied with such a preacher of authorized bhakti cult, shakes hands with him in great. So if you wish to do a handshake with the Supreme Lord, then you have to be in the Brahma Madhav Gaudi Sampradaya, following the footsteps. Prabhupada's purport. That's the first handshake between Brahma and Vishnu. And that's the disciplic succession which is shown coming down to Sri Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so it's Brahma, Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa, Vyasa to Sukdev Goswami, and then comes down, Sutta Goswami comes down. Sorry, my fonts have changed because of this change in the laptop, so fonts have changed. We will not refer to that, but yeah. Muyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Varimidam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Sarvo Mrisha. That's not mana, that's Mrisha. So by him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. Anybody can give me an example? Sages and demigods both placed in illusion, especially some of those who don't raise their hands. Naturally, I tend to always look on this side of the class, because I get answers from here. I change my direction. Somebody else. I am repeating that over here it's mentioned that by him even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. मोहित हो जाते हैं, you know. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of the nature appear factual, although they are unreal. They are not real. So I'm asking that which are such examples in our Shastra which speak about sages and demigods being illusion? Wait, you also wait. You were there na last Sunday. Anybody else? Sage. हमने बहुत बार सुना है ये सब कुछ. This is not something that I'm discussing from last Sunday or the Sunday before that. Sages. Sages. Anybody remembers? Sage. Demigods. Sage. Vishwamitra. How he got bewildered? Hmm. Okay. He got disturbed. What else? Any other? Okay, we know of Durvasa Muni. Okay, the story of Akshay Patra. Okay, what else? Anything else? Okay, demigods, sages, sages. क्या हुआ था? He had a desire to become young and handsome, and then he got married. 20 multiple. Okay. Demigods. बहुत easy है. Demigods. You know some example of demigods who got illusion? हाँ. शिव जी. कैसे? बोलिए. आपने कहा ना शिव. कैसे मोहित हो गए शिव जी? नहीं पता. Okay. Anybody else? We know the famous story of Brahma. You know the famous story of Indra. How the Govardhan Leela happened, because Indra was baffled that how can they worship. They can follow the instructions of a small boy of Vrindavan, and they worship a mountain and not worship me. They don't offer So Indra was bewildered and Indra showered heavy rains to finish off the entire Brajavasis. So that is about the towards the past time. We see about the Brahma Vimohan Leela, which is very prominent, and how Brahma thought that how he can be a supreme personality of God. ये तो you know they Krishna with his friends was having juice, and then he was throwing the juice into his friend's mouth, like that. This is how he was having prasad. And that Brahma is saying, अरे क्या हमें तो भोग लगाने पहले we have to take bath, clean ourselves, एकदम cleanliness रखना पड़ता है, फिर ठाकुर जी भोग एक्सेप्ट करते, ये थोड़ी ना मतलब भगवान हो सकते हैं. So he also he decided to kidnap the we know Lord Shiva to be an ascetic, and he is a person who doesn't lose his power of. But on seeing the during the Samudra Manthan Leela, right? Samudra Manthan Leela, right? He saw the Mohini Murti form of the Lord, and Lord Shiva also got mad and started running behind the Mohini form. Okay. What else? Does anybody remember anything else? Hmm? Srila Prabhupada's purport, this cosmic creation results from interaction of the three modes of nature, and the temporary manifestations are so created as to present an illusion of reality to the bewildered mind of the conditioned soul. To play the pastime of in the pastime of Lord Ram in the forest, even Mother Sita was, captivated by the golden deer, but there was no golden deer. Including the higher demigods who appears in at illusion of reality to bewilder mind of the conditioned soul, who appear in so many species of life, including the higher demigods, the Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and so on. In actuality, there is no reality in the manifested world. There appears to be reality, however, because of the true reality which exists in the spiritual world, where the personality of God eternally exists with his transcendental paraphernalia. Which chapter of Bhagavad Gita we discuss spiritual and the material world? What is the analogy given of a banyan tree? Upside down, you see a reflection of a banyan tree in the water. You have a mango tree on the bank of the river which has a mango. But if you look at the water, you will also see a mango in that water. Will you jump in the water to get the mango? Will you get the mango? Which chapter? 15 chapter? No. Chapter number 16. Krishna speaks about the upside down banyan tree. 15 chapter? हाँ नेचर एंड एंजॉयर आता है 13 चैप्टर में. Yes, nature, the enjoyer, and the consciousness, chapter number 13. 16 chapter is the divine and the demoniac. No, nature and the enjoyer is about Kshetra, Kshetragna, and Kshetragya. That's chapter number 15. Sorry. Upside down Banyali, the yoga of the Supreme Person. So there Krishna gives an example of the spiritual world and the material world. Same thing is referred over here. It is mentioned that we feel everything is real because the actual reality exists in the spiritual world, and this is just purely a reflection. So इसका हमें लगता है कि सब कुछ real है, but Actually, it is not. Anything that is manifested is not true in this material world. धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निराष्टकुहकं satyam param dhimahi. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that there is no other Param Tattva, Samam Bonam, than himself. Therefore, Shri Vyasdev at once worships the Paratattva. Shri Krishna, whose transcendental activities are described in the 10th canto, the Srimad Bhagavatam, will gradually elevate the unbiased reader to the highest perfection stage of transcendence. See, this is the entire description which is given, which is forever free from illusory representation of the material world. So, nirashta kuvakam, if you see that word to word meaning of nirashta kuvakam is negation of the absence, kuvakam is illusion. There appears to be a reality, however, because of the true reality which exists in the spiritual world, where the person of God eternally exists with the transcendental Parabrahma. Satyam Param Dhimahi, I made it upon him. For he is the absolute truth. So Srila Vyasdev, in the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, wants to summarize everything, which one should not have doubt about, because like Prabhu was mentioning last time, he was not sure whether people will go ahead or not. After reading, पता नहीं कि आगे जाएंगे या नहीं जाएंगे. So let me speak everything in the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why if you come back to the first verse, you read the translation again. O my Lord, Shri Krishna, son of Vasudev. Va is V and A, the line on the top. Okay. O my Lord Shri Krishna, son of Vasudev, O all pervading personality of God, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primal cause of all causes of creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. Spiritual world को manifest नहीं किया जाता. Spiritual world is already there. It is eternal. So the manifestation only happens. Creation, sustenance, and destruction only happens of the manifested world, of the material world, not of the spiritual world. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations. You know, like last time Gautam was mentioning that the you know the like Mukesh Ambani would not be battery. Like Mukesh Ambani would not be conscious of every employee in the Reliance organization कि उसके दिमाग में उसके दिल में क्या चल रहा है. मतलब you may get new batteries because it takes time, no? So like last time, if you remember, Nandam was mentioning the Mukesh Ambani being the owner of Reliance or Jio would not know that what is happening or what is going on in the mind of each and every employee who is working in his organization. The Supreme Lord is completely aware about each one of us. He knows our past, present, and future. How? How? He's sitting in the heart as Paramatma. So he is, when we change our bodies, he doesn't change. He comes with us. Similarly, like the way as spirit soul, Atma doesn't change. We are the same spirit soul. Our identity doesn't change. We just change dresses. Okay, somebody is wearing a black shirt, somebody may wear a blue shirt tomorrow, somebody wear a red shirt tomorrow. But it's the same person who's going on. Okay. That is why he is directly and indirectly conscious. He's conscious, he knows everything. And he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. He's not affected by these things. So he is Swarat. We read this. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore made it upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Like there's a uh, argument by the Mayavadis that Srimad Bhagavatam is not a Puran. You know, it is written by somebody not named Vyasdev but Bopadev. Have you heard about this? Anybody? So this is an argument by Mayavadis. So if the Srimad Bhagavatam is not an authenticate Puran, then whatever Krishna is saying, Vyasdev is saying, Ite Shamsha Kalapamsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swaram is all not valid. But Srila Vyasdev gives actually Jiva Goswami, he gives many references how Bhagavatam is mentioned in different Puranas. Okay, Brahma Vaivata Puran, Garuda Puran, Vaman Puran, Skanda Puran, different Puranas mention about Srimad Bhagavatam. And one of the commentaries that he mentions is that how the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is actually in relation to the Gayatri Mantra, exactly in relation to the Gayatri Mantra. Maybe I'll speak on that next time. But he exactly speaks that how the first verse is in relation to the Gayatri Mantra. Because the Gayatri Mantra is a bona fide thing which is there in the Shastra that is accepted everywhere. So how the Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasdev is completely correlating the first verse of Bhagavatam with the Gayatri Mantra. I'll show that breakup next time. But there are Mayavadis who claim that it is not written by Vyasdev but Upadev. I'll come to that sometime later. If I have it here, I'll show you. So we'll, what I'll do is, do you have any questions to learn? Or we can, I was thinking of reading the purport to this first verse because none of you all have read it. And the first verse purport is very, very important. First, second, and third, all three verses purport is extremely important. Because the first verse speaks about Sambandha. Sambandha. If you don't know who we are, who the Supreme Lord is, how will you develop a Sambandha? Okay, so it develops our relation with the Absolute Truth. It develops our connection. So it speaks about the Sambandha. Does anybody have any question? Yes, please. Purport is mentioned. Sometimes we see water. मतलब हम दूर से अगर if you see fire from far, it looks like water. And sometimes if you see a desert from far, it looks like there is water. That is what Prabhupada is mentioning, that the illusory energy of the Lord illusions people in such a way as if it may appear to be water, but it is actually fire. It may appear to be water, but it is actually land. So that is how the great personalities like sages and demigods get illusioned by the illusory energy of the Lord. Actually, it is not like that. Even we, that's how even we get illusion, right? We get bewildered by the energy of the Lord. It's just the energy which takes us aback. He's giving reference to that. And by him, even the great sages and demigods are placed in illusion as one is bewildered by the illusory representation of water seen in fire or land seen on water. अगर आप हाईवे पे भी जा रहे हो दूर से रास्ता देख रहे हो it may appear to be, well, it's actually road, but it may appear to be water. When you go closer, it's not water, it's actually road. That reflection on the land surface shows because of that. So we'll read the purport. Obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Vasudev, indirectly indicate Lord Shri Krishna, who is the divine son of Vasudeva and Devaki. This fact will be more explicitly explained in the text of this work. Shri Vyasadeva asserts herein that Shri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead and all others are his direct or indirect plenary portions or portions of the portion. This is chapter number 3 of this chapter. Uh, Vyasadeva will list down different incarnations. If you see, it mentions as Krishna is the source of all incarnation. That is chapter number 3. That chapter mentions different incarnations. There are close to 22. Yeah, 21. 22. Yeah, 22 incarnations. And then in text number 28, he speaks that Ete Chamsha Kalapamsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He speaks about that verse. He lists down 22 incarnations, different incarnations, and then he says Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. Okay. Srila Jiva Goswami has even more explicitly explained the Krishna subject matter in the Krishna Sandarbha. Actually, Srila Prabhupada regards Srila Jiva Goswami as the most foremost and the most prominent scholars amongst all the 6 Goswamis. Srila Jiva Goswami. He was. It's that's why most of the different Sandarbhas are detailed by him. And Brahma, the original living being, has explained the subject of Sri Krishna substantially in his treatise named Brahma Samhita. In the Samaveda Upanishad, it is also stated that Lord Krishna is the divine son of Devaki. Therefore, in this prayer, the first proposition holds that Lord Shri Krishna is a primal Lord, and if any transcendental nomenclature is to be understood as belonging to the absolute personality of God, it must be the name indicated by the word Krishna, which means all attractive. Actually, name. I was hearing Prabhupada lecture, and he was saying that actually God has no name, but uh, his activities give him name. Unlike us, we are given a name for our actions, but the Lord's actions give him a name. Devaki Nandan, Vasudeva, Nanda, Nanda Kumar, or Nanda Nandan, yeah, Yashoda Nandan, or Giridhari, you know, or Madan Mohan, things like that. Govinda, Gopala, Ranchor. All these names come from his actions. Pele he performs his actions which become glorious, and then he gets those names. Okay, Partha Sarthi. He became the charioteer of Partha, became Partha Sarthi. So these names. So over here, but the foremost amongst all these names is the one that is attractive. Krishna is attractive to, ऐसा नहीं कि Krishna is only attractive to devotees. He's also attractive to non-devotees. Yeah. If God is God, he has to be attractive to both, na? But one is attractive in a loving service and another is attractive in a enemy or envy. Like Kamsa, Kans knew that Devki's eighth son is going to be the one who's going to kill me. And his name is Krishna. So he was also always meditating upon, he was also always attracted by continuously thinking about Krishna. But his thinking of Krishna was to kill him, not to serve him. Not to serve him. You know? So that's the difference. So he's attractive, but he's attractive to both devotees as well as non-devotees. We can be attractive, but we can be attractive only to our friends, our parents. Okay. But our enemies, we may not be attractive. Or we may not want to Our enemies may not be attractive to us, right? That's the Supreme Lord, Krishna. The word means all attractive. And because he's all attractive, he's attractive to everyone, not just specific class of people. It's attractive to everyone. In the Bhagavad Gita, in many places, the Lord asserts himself to be the original personality of Godhead, and this is confirmed by Arjuna and also by great sages like Narada, Vyasa, and many others. Asito Devalo Vyasa. That verse is there, right? Where Arjuna is saying that all of them confirm that you are the supreme personality of Godhead. In the Padma Puran, it is also stated that. Let me know once I have to scroll down. No? Huh? Yeah. So this line. In the Padma Puran, it is also stated that out of the innumerable names of the Lord, the name of Krishna is the principal one. Vasudeva indicates the plenary portion of the personality of Godhead, and all the different forms of the Lord being identical with Vasudeva are indicated in this text. The name Vasudeva particularly indicates the divine son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Shri Krishna is always meditated upon by Paramhamsas, who are perfected ones among those in the renounced order of Vasudeva or Lord Shri Krishna is the cause of all causes. So this is also confirmed by Brahma. Everything that exists emanates from the Lord. How this is so is explained in the later chapters of this work. This work is described by Mahaprabhu Shri Chaitanya as a spotless Puran, Amal Puran. Mal means there is some spot, there is some dag. Amal means which there is no spot, it is spotless. Because it contains a transcendental narration of the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. The history of Srimad Bhagavatam is also very glorious. It was compiled by Srila Vyasdev after he attained the maturity in transcendental knowledge. He wrote this under the instructions of Sri Maharajji, his spiritual master. Vyasadeva compiled all Vedic literatures containing the four divisions of the Vedas, the Vedanta Sutras, or the Brahma Sutras, the Puranas, the Mahabharata, and so on. But nevertheless, he was not satisfied. His dissatisfaction was observed by his spiritual master, and thus Narada advised him to write on the transcendental activities of Lord Sri Krishna. These transcendental activities are described specifically in the 10th canto of this work, but in order to reach to the very substance, one must proceed gradually by developing knowledge of the categories. I was hearing, uh, I was reading regarding the first verse, and it was mentioned that the only qualification to read Bhagavatam is that one has to go step by step. Only qualification is to go step by step. That's it. One has to start from the first chapter and for the first canto and go up till the 10th and 11th and the 12th canto. One can directly not jump to any other canto. The only qualification is to hear step by step. That's it. If one hears step by step, the Bhagavatam reveals itself. The author of sorry. It is natural that a philosophical mind wants to know about the origin of the creation. At night, he sees the stars in the sky and he naturally speculates about their inhabitants. Such inquiries are natural for a man because man has a developed consciousness which is higher than that of an animal. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam gives a direct answer to such inquiries. He says that the Lord Shri Krishna is the origin of all creations. He is not only the creator of the universe but the destroyer as well. The manifested cosmic nature is created at a certain period by the will of the Lord. It is manifested for some time and then it is unaided by his will. Therefore, the supreme will is behind all cosmic activities. Of course, there are atheists of various categories who do not believe in the creator, but that is due to the poor fund of knowledge. The modern scientist, for example, has created space satellites, and by some arrangement or other, these satellites are thrown into the outer space to fly for some time at the control of a scientist who is far away. Similarly, all the universes with innumerable stars and planets are controlled by the intelligence of the personality of Godhead. In the Vedic literatures, it is said that the absolute truth, personality of God is a chief amongst all living personalities. All living beings, beginning from the first created being, Brahma, down to the smallest ant, are individual living beings. And above Brahma, there are even other living beings with individual capacities, and the personality of God is also a similar living being. And he is an individual, as are the other living beings. But the Supreme Lord, or the Supreme Living Being, has the greatest intelligence, and he possesses supermost inconceivable energies of all different varieties. If a man's brain can produce a space satellite, one can very easily imagine how brains higher than man can produce similarly wonderful things which are far superior. I'll read that again. If a man's brain can produce a space satellite, one can very easily imagine how brains higher than a man can produce similar wonderful things which are far superior. The reasonable person will easily accept this argument, but there are stubborn atheists who never agree. Srila Vyasdev, however, at once accepts the supreme intelligence of Parameshwara. He offers his respectful obeisances under the supreme intelligence addressed as Para or Parameshwara or the supreme personality of Godhead. And that Parameshwara is Shri Krishna, as admitted in the Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures delivered by Srila Vyasdev, and especially and specifically in this Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says there is no other Paratatva, Samam Bonam, than Himself. Therefore, Sri Vyasdev at once worships the Paratatva, Shri Krishna, those whose transcendental activities are described in the 10th canto. So this is just regarding why Vyasadeva is paying obeisances to Vasudeva. That's it. Till now, the explanation was only regarding the respect and the obeisances and the gratitude that Vyasadeva is paying to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, who is the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Till now, the explanation is only about that. Nothing beyond it. It's just the first line. Okay, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's it. He's just going on with that explanation. Are you following? You have to read over here. I'm reading just for you because I've already read this. Unscrupulous persons go immediately to the 10th canto, and especially to the 5 chapters which describe the Lord's rasa dance. This portion of Srimad Bhagavatam is the most confidential part of this literature, great literature. Unless one is thoroughly accomplished in the transcendental knowledge of the Lord, one is sure to misunderstand the Lord's worshipable transcendental pastimes called rasa dance and his love affairs with the gopis. This subject matter is highly spiritual, and only the liberated persons who have gradually attained to the stage of Paramhamsa can transcendently relish this rasa dance. Srila Vyasadev therefore gives the reader the chance to gradually develop the spiritual realization before actually relishing the essence of the pastimes of the Lord. Therefore, he purposely invokes a Gayatri mantra. This is the reference that I was giving. Dhimahi. This Gayatri mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people. When one is successful in chanting the Gayatri mantra, one can enter into the transcendental portion of the Lord. One must therefore acquire Brahmanical qualities or be perfectly situated in the quality of goodness in order to chant the Gayatri mantra successfully and then attain to the stage of transcendental realization, transcendently realizing the Lord, His name, His fame, His qualities, and so on. So that is why we say, no, we get Brahmin initiation, that is called as the second Diksha that we get. That time, what the spiritual master gives you is the Gayatri mantra, because that is when you are qualified to actually chant the Gayatri mantra. Now, because of uh, many famous singers, Gayatri mantra can be chanted. It is, people are reciting by one and all, but it is a mantra which is to be secretly chanted. It is not something, that is why it is Dhimahi. The word Dhimahi means it is you are meditating upon, as well as it is a secret, silently. It is not to be done in a public, open way. It's a mantra to pray. Shrimad Bhagavatam, in the narration of the Swarupa of the Lord manifested by his internal potency. And this now this speaks about Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the Lord himself in the book form. Srimad Bhagavatam is the narration of the Swarupa of the Lord manifested by his internal potency, and this potency is distinguished from the external potency which has manifested the cosmic world, which is within our experience. Srila Vyasadeva makes a clear distinction between two in this shloka. Srila Vyasadeva says herein that the manifested internal potency is real, whereas the external manifested energy in the form of the material existence is only temporary and illusory, like the mirage in the desert. The spiritual world is real, and the material world, which is made by the external potency, which is manifested creation, is only temporary. It is only a mirage in the desert. It's there for some time, will not exist permanently. In the desert mirage, there is no actual water. There is only appearance of water. Real water is somewhere else. The manifested cosmic creation appears a reality, but reality of which this is but a shadow is in the spiritual world. Absolute truth is in the spiritual sky, not in the material sky. In the material sky, everything is relative truth. That is to say, one truth depends on something else. This cosmic creation results from interaction of the three modes of nature, and the temporary manifestations are so created as to present an illusion of the reality to the bewildered mind of the conditioned soul, who appears in so many species of life, including higher demigods. We read this like Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and so on. In actually, there is no reality in the manifested world. There appears to be reality, however, because of the reality, true reality, which exists in the spiritual world, where the personality of Godhead eternally exists with his transcendental paraphernalia. Right now, it may not at all make any, you know, आपको लग रहा है क्या है रियलिटी 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 एटलीस्ट इफ यू सी इन दिस पैराग्राफ मल्टीपल टाइम्स रियलिटी इज मेंशनड बट इफ यू carefully read this you'll understand that the law that Vyasadev is just repeating time and again that this material world is not real. It is just a manifestation of the external energy of the Lord. There are different energies of the Lord. One is an internal energy and one is an external energy. One is a marginal energy. With the external energy of the Lord creates this material universe, and that's what he's referring to over here. That's the only thing. The chief engineer of a complicated construction does not personally take part in the construction, but he knows every nook and corner because everything is done under his direction. He knows everything about the construction, both directly as well as indirectly. Similarly, the personality of God, who is the supreme engineer of this cosmic creation, knows every nook and corner, although affairs are being carried out by demigods, beginning from Brahma down to insignificant, and no one is independent in the material creation. The hand of the Lord is seen everywhere. All material elements as well as spiritual sparks emanate from him only. And whatever is created in this material world is but the interaction of two, the material and the spiritual, which emanate from the absolute truth. The material, that is where there is creation. So see, we are covered by matter and there is spirit within us. That is where there is creation happening. There is expansion happening. But if you mix this table with this Vyasa, will you get another Vyasa? Huh? Toyota car mixed into Honda City will create Range Rover. ऐसा हुआ क्या? नहीं हुआ, because matter है. It has to have a mix of material and spiritual. Then only that element is involved. Yeah, so I'm again reading this. There is interaction. Yeah, over here. Meaning from here again. And whatever is created in this material world is but interaction of two energies, the material and the spiritual, which emanate from Brahma. No, emanates from Krishna. The personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. A chemist can manufacture water in the chemical laboratory by mixing hydrogen and oxygen. But in reality, the living entity works in the laboratory under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Can you keep hydrogen and oxygen and expect by the end of the day it will become water? There has to be a human intervention which has spirit in it to come and. But in reality, the living entity works in the laboratory under the direction of the Supreme Lord. And the materialist with which and the materials with which he works are also supplied by the. Actually, this thing shows that what is our position. No position. Are you understanding? Whatever our qualification is, whatever our possession is, whatever our wealth is, whatever our intelligence is, actually we have no position because we are completely dependent. We if we don't have matter, we cannot create. You cannot create an iPhone 16 without a matter. You know, you need elements. You need titanium. You need some chip. And then you can create it. And you need a person also to give the intelligence to put Apple intelligence inside it, right? Okay. Was Apple intelligence created by someone? No. There was a person who was behind it, and he was created by Bhumi Apor Analo Vayu, which was done by Brahma, and Brahma came from. So Apple intelligence also comes from Krishna only. आप बोलेंगे क्या है सब कुछ जोड़ दिया इन्होंने ऊपर. This is what it is. It is reality. This is reality. How? So, and the materials with which he works are also supplied by the Lord. The Lord knows everything directly and indirectly, and he is cognizant of all minute details, and he is fully independent. He is compared to a mine of gold, and the cosmic creations of so many different forms are compared to objects made from gold, such as gold rings, necklaces, and so on. The gold ring and the gold necklace are qualitatively one with the gold in the mine, but quantitatively, the gold mine is different. Therefore, the absolute truth is simultaneously one and different. Nothing is absolutely equal with the absolute truth. But at the same time, nothing is independent of the. This is called as Achintya Veda Ved Tattva. There's one and the same. One without and one with. It's the same thing. We'll read this again. He is compared to a mine of gold. Gold mine में बहुत कितना गोल्ड होता है? बहुत होता है. मतलब कितना आप काउंट भी नहीं कर सकते. माइन है ना, जितना डिग करोगे उतना निकलेगा. या यू डोंट नो, यू कैन नॉट कैलकुलेट कितना है. But from the gold mine, you make gold rings, gold necklace, gold bracelet, gold bangles. The gold in the bangle and the gold in the mine is same? Yes or no? Yes. The gold in the mine and the gold in the bangle is the quality is quantity is same? No. Quantity is not the same. Similarly, there are some things within us, right? We want to be independent. Why? Because the Lord is. That is. But can we be independent? No. Like Him? No. Can we come out of the mother's womb when we want to come? No. We come out when we are pushed. That is our dependence. Can we say 9 महीना नहीं 9 दिन में बाहर आ जाऊंगा पूरा अडल्ट बन के? आएगा क्या कोई बाहर? नहीं आएगा. Cannot come. But Krishna comes from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki, from the heart of Vasudeva to the heart of Devaki, and from the heart of Devaki to the womb of Devaki, and from the womb of Devaki directly comes out. And when he's in the womb of Devaki, Mother Devaki becomes very, very beautiful. So much beautiful that all the demigods come. You know, if suppose यहाँ पे किसी बच्चे का जन्म होने वाला है, you know, will the देवी देवता come and flower, you know, shower flowers? होता है कोई लेबर रूम ऐसा होता है? ब्रह्मा जी आए हैं, हनुमान जी आए हैं, शिव जी आए हैं, सब लोग फ्लावर अर्पण कर रहे हैं, ऊपर से फ्लावर्स गिर रहे हैं. No, it doesn't happen like that. But in the jail of Kansa, it was happening like that because Krishna was going to be born. So because he is independent, he is not. We are not like that. When we come out, first of all, we have to be cleaned. When Krishna came out, he was golden helmet, kaustubh mani was there, yellow pitambar dhoti was there, full jewelry के साथ, fully assets के साथ. हमें आने के पहले धोना पड़ता है और थोड़ा सा ज्वेलरी पहना है तो भी उसका मेजरमेंट लेना पड़ता है. You know, कभी कभार कोई निकाल लेता है, चोरी कर लेता है. You know, he was completely fully ready. We don't come like that because the Lord is independent. Conditioned souls beginning from Brahma, who engineers the entire universe down to insignificant ant, are all creating. Are all? Ant is also, what is it creating? Ant hill. Mukesh Ambani is also creating Antilla. Creating. Right or wrong? And we are also creating. What are we creating? Those who are working, they are creating some wealth. After creating some wealth, they will create some house for themselves. Then they'll get some family, expanded family. You'll keep going on like that, you know. But none of them are independent of the Supreme Lord. You cannot create without Supreme Lord. The materialist wrongly thinks that there is no creator other than his own. So if we think, you know, aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam, aham सबसे अगर मैं ही हूँ, I am the source, then finish. This is called Maya. The word Maya means that I think that I am the ahankara vimud atma kartahamiti. I think that I am the creator. Karta ham, मैं ही कर रहा हूँ. Ahankara, vimud atma. He's a vimud atma. He thinks I am the creator. This is called Maya or illusion. Because of his poor fund of knowledge, आप लोगों के पास poor fund नहीं रहेगा because अभी आप भागवतम पढ़ रहे हैं. Poor fund of knowledge, the materialist cannot see beyond the purview of his imperfect senses, and thus he thinks that matter automatically takes its own shape without the aid of a superior. मैंने बाहर से झाड़ काट के लेके आया लकड़ा, यहाँ पे रख दिया लकड़ा, ऑटोमेटिकली 10 दिन के बाद मैं ये सोच रहा हूँ कि लकड़ा टेबल बन जाएगा. बनेगा क्या? हाँ, या लकड़ा चेयर बन जाएगा, बनेगा? That is what is mentioned over here. The materialist, I mentioned over here, amazing. That's why I'm just reading it. You know, this is called Maya or illusion because of poor fund of knowledge. Where are we? I'm not reading this. Where are we? Because of this poor fund of knowledge, the materialist cannot see beyond the purview of imperfect senses, and thus he thinks that matter automatically takes its own without the aid of a superior. This is completely abolishing the Big Bang theory. Bang किया, boom, building बन गया. No. बिल्डिंग बनाने के लिए कभी ओल्ड बिल्डिंग भी तोड़ना पड़ता है, उसके लिए बूम करना पड़ता है, उसके बाद बनाना पड़ता है. So this is amazing. This is refuted in the shloka by Srila Vyasadeva. Since the complete whole or the absolute truth is a source of everything, nothing can be independent of the body of absolute truth. Whatever happens to the body quickly becomes known to the, like suppose if I pinch on the leg, will I come to know? A pinch on the back, will I come to know? Because the body is, the soul is embodied in the body. Come to know. Similarly, the creation is the body of the absolute whole, Lord. Therefore, the absolute knows everything directly and indirectly. He knows everything what is happening. Creation is the body of the absolute whole. Therefore, the absolute knows everything directly and indirectly that happens in the. कोई सोचेगा अरे सीसीटीवी तो लगाया है नहीं, कौन पकड़ेगा मेरे को? You know, who will catch me? और मैं अच्छा से क्या कहता हूँ, वेबसाइट भी हैक कर लेता हूँ, कैसे पता चलेगा किसी को मैंने हैक किया है? You know? ऐसे पता चलेगा. Okay, there are two more pages. We'll just read it. In the Shruti mantra, it is also stated that the absolute whole or Brahman, is the ultimate source of everything. Everything emanates from him and everything is maintained by him. And at the end of everything enters into him. That is a law of nature. That is a law of nature. In the Smriti Samhita, in the Smriti mantra, the same is confirmed. It is said that the source from which everything emanates at the beginning of Brahma's millennium, and the reservoir to which everything ultimately enters in the absolute truth or Brahman. Material scientists take it for granted that the ultimate source of planetary Material scientists take it for granted that the ultimate source of the planetary system is the sun, but they are unable to explain the source of sun. Herein, the ultimate source is explained. According to the Vedic literatures, Brahma, who may be compared to the sun, is not the ultimate creator. It is stated in this shloka that Brahma was taught Vedic knowledge by the personality of Godhead. One may argue that Brahma, being the original living being, could not be inspired because there was no other being living at that time. Here it is stated that Supreme Lord inspired the secondary creator, Brahma, in order that Brahma could carry out his creative functions. So, the supreme intelligence behind all creations is the absolute Godhead Shri Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna states that it is He only who superintends the creative energy, Prakriti, Kriyamana, no, not this one, creative Prakriti, which constitutes the totality of matter. Therefore, Shri Vyasadev does not worship Brahma, but the Supreme Lord who guides Brahma in his creative activities. In this shloka, the particular words Abhigna and Swarata are significant. The two words distinguish Supreme Lord from all other living entities. No other living entity is either Abhigna or Swarat. That is, no one is either fully cognizant or fully independent. No one. Even Brahma has to meditate upon the Supreme Lord in order to create. Okay, when Brahma came on the Nadi Kamal of Vishnu, he didn't know what was to be done. He didn't know. It was just darkness. Aayega aage. Didn't know. Then he heard the word tapa, meditate. Then he meditates, and then through meditation, then he gets the answer how he has to create. He also has to meditate upon the Supreme Lord. Even Brahma has to meditate upon the Supreme Lord in order to create. Then what to speak about the great scientists like Einstein? The brains of such scientists are certainly not the products of any human being. Scientists cannot manufacture such a brain. What to speak of foolish atheists who defy the authority of the scientists? Can they manufacture a brain like Einstein? अभी तक manufacture किया किसी ने? इतना advancement हो गया civilization में. अभी AI भी आ गया. Can AI manufacture Einstein's brain? No. Because you need the Supreme Lord to do that. Even Mayavadi impersonalists who flatter themselves that they can become one with Lord are neither Abhigna nor Swarat. Such impersonalists undergo severe austerities to acquire knowledge to become one with the Lord. But ultimately, they become dependent on some rich disciple who supplies them with money to build monasteries and temple. Are you following? So, I'll read it again. Even Brahma has to meditate upon the Supreme Lord in order to create. Fourth line. Okay. Then what to speak of great scientists like Einstein? The brains of such scientists are certainly not products of any human being. Scientists cannot manufacture such a brain, and what to speak of foolish atheists who defy the authority of the Lord. Now, they're speaking about Mayavadis. See, this is very important. Why is the stress given to Mayavadis? Because 99% of the thing that we hear in the spiritual, regarding spiritual subject matter outside, is only Mayavad. Is only Mayavad. You may not go deep into the subject matter. Sometimes you may not pay attention to this, but actually, it is very dangerous to hear a Mayavadi. Very, very dangerous. Because it tells you that you can become, today you're not God, but tomorrow you can become one with God. You can become God. So, you can become Soham. Okay? Very important. So, you can read this. Even Mayavadi impersonalists who flatter themselves that they can become one with Lord are neither. Abhigna means Abhigna means what? The one who knows everything. Fully cognizant. Cognizant means not that IT company cognizant. Cognizant means, huh? To be aware about everything. Fully cognizant and fully swarat. Again, I'll read. Even Mayavadi impersonalists who flatter themselves that they can become one with Lord are neither Abhigna nor Swarat. Such impersonalists undergo severe austerities to acquire knowledge, to become one with Lord. But ultimately, they become on some rich, dependent on some rich disciple who supplies them with money to build monasteries. And so if you are Soham, and if you are Abhigna, and if you're Swarat, then why do you need rich disciple to make a monastery? You can do it by yourself, na? Like Krishna created 16,108 palaces of gold in Dwarka. With whose help? Huh? With whose help? Did he go to his father, grandfather? Did he go to anybody else? No. Who created it? He himself created it. Okay, he didn't go to anybody else. So, Prabhupada is smashing these impersonalists over here. He's saying such impersonalists, they undergo severe austerities to find out knowledge, and after getting knowledge, they um, still depend upon some rich disciple who supplies them with money to build monasteries and temples. Because if they are Swayam Bhagwan, then they can do it everything. Then why do they have to depend upon anyone? Atheists like Ravana or Hiranyakashipu had to undergo severe penances before they could flout the authority of the Lord. But ultimately, they were rendered helpless and could not save themselves when the Lord appeared before them as cruel death. This is also the case with the modern atheists who also dare to flout the authority of the. Such atheists will be dealt with similarly, for history repeats its. Is it there? I have to scroll down. Huh? So Prabhupada is saying that if uh, such atheists will have to be dealt in the same way like Ravana and Hiranyakashipu were dealt, because history repeats itself. If you don't believe in God, then history will repeat. Whenever men neglect the authority of the Lord, nature and her laws are there to penalize them. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita as well as in the well-known verse Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata. Whenever there is a decline in dharma and a rise of dharma, O Arjuna, I then I will incarnate myself. Okay, mission. That the Supreme Lord is all perfect is confirmed in all Shruti mantras. It is said in the Shruti mantra that all perfect Lord threw a glance over the matter and thus created all living beings. The living beings are part and parcel of the Lord, and He impregnates the vast material creation with, with seeds of spiritual sparks. And thus, the creative energies are set in motion to enact so many wonderful creations. An atheist may argue that God is no more expert than a watchmaker. But of course, God is greater because He can create machines in duplicate male and female forms. The male and female form of the different types of machineries go on producing innumerable similar machines without God's further. You understood? It's the same example. A Toyota Innova mixed with, you know, a Honda City cannot create a Land Cruiser. Can it create? No. But the Lord has created male and female, which can go on creating further expansions. If a man could manufacture such a set of machines that could produce other machines without his attention, then he could approach the intelligence of God. If you read each and every word, it's very carefully mentioned. He could approach the intelligence of God, not even equal the intelligence of God, not even match the intelligence of God. This approach. If a man could manufacture such set of machines that could produce other machines without attention, you make machines, two machines are walking out together, don't pay attention to them. After 10 years, they create another machine without your attention. Then you are little bit approaching the intelligence of the Supreme Lord. मैं थोड़ा भी पास पहुंच पाए हो थोड़ा भी पास पहुंच पाए हो just see the words that I carefully use. But that is not possible, for each machine has to be handled individually. Therefore, no one can create as well as God. Another name of God is Asamurdo, which means that no one is equal to or greater than him. Param Satyam, or the supreme truth, is he he who has no equal or superior. This is confirmed in the Shruti mantra. It is said that before the creation of the material universe, there existed the Lord only, who was the master of everyone. That Lord instructed to Brahma in Vedic knowledge. That Lord has to be obeyed in all respects. Anyone who wants to get rid of material entanglement must surrender unto him. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Unless one surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, it is certain that he will be bewildered. When an intelligent man surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Krishna and knows completely that Krishna is the cause of all causes, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, then only can such an intelligent man become a Mahatma or great soul. Sa Mahatma Su Durlabha. But such a great soul is rarely seen. Only Mahatmas can understand that the Supreme Lord is the primal cause of all creations. He is Parama or ultimate truth because all other truths are relative to him. He is omniscient. For him, there is no illusion. Some Mayavadi scholars argue that Srimad Bhagavatam was not compiled by Srila Vyasdev, and some of them suggest that this book is modern creation written by someone named Bopadev. In order to refute such meaningless argument, Srila Sridhar Swami points out that there is reference to Bhagavatam in many oldest Puranas. The first shloka of the Bhagavatam begins with the Gayatri mantra. There is reference to this in the Matsya Puran, which is the oldest Puran. In that Puran, it is said with reference to the Gayatri mantra in the Bhagavatam that there are many narrations of the spiritual instructions beginning with the Gayatri mantra, and there is a history of Vritasura. Anyone who makes a gift of this work on a full moon day attains the highest perfection of returning to Godhead. There is a reference of the Bhagavatam. There's a reference to the Bhagavatam in other Puranas also, where it is clearly stated that this work was finished in 12 cantos, which includes 18,000 shlokas. In the Padma Puran also there is a reference to the Bhagavatam in a conversation between Gautama and Maharaj Amrish. The king was advised therein to read regularly Srimad Bhagavatam if he desired liberation from material bondage. Under under the circumstances, there is no doubt about the authority of Bhagavatam. Within the past 500 years, many erudite scholars and acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Chakur, Vallabhacharya and many other distinguished scholars, even after the time of Lord Chaitanya, made elaborate commentaries on the Bhagavatam, the and the serious student who and the serious student would do well to attempt to go through them to better relish the transcendental messages. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically deals with the original and pure. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically deals with the origin and the pure sex psychology Adi Rasa, devoid of all mundane inebriety. The whole material creation is moving under the principle of sex life. In modern civilization, sex life is the focal point of all activities. Wherever one turns his face, he sees sex life predominant. Therefore, sex life is not unreal. Its reality is experienced in the spiritual world. The material sex life is but a perverted reflection of the original fact. The original fact is in the absolute truth, and thus the absolute truth cannot be impersonal. It is not possible to be impersonal and contain pure sex life. Consequently, the impersonalist philosophers have given indirect impetus to the abominable mundane sex life because they have overstressed the impersonality of the absolute truth. Consequently, a man without information of the actual spiritual form of sex has accepted perverted material sex life as all in all. There is a distinction between sex life in the diseased material condition and spiritual sex life. The Srimad Bhagavatam will gradually elevate the unbiased reader to the highest perfectional stage of transcendence. It will enable him to transcend the three modes of material activities, fruitive actions, speculative philosophy, and worship of functional deities as inculcated in the Vedic verses. Okay, so this completes our reading of the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Do you have any questions? Yes, I have a question. क्या वाला टेली हाँ when it is a mirage, for some time you feel it is water in the desert. But when you go there, you feel there is no water. Similarly, in this material world, you feel there is pleasure. When you start to seek pleasure, there is no pleasure. Understood? There's a desert. दूर से आप देख रहे हो आपको पानी दिख रहा है you go close to that place there is no water but from far distance you feel there is water right similarly in this material world we feel this is the world for me to enjoy this is the world for me to create this is the world for me to stay right when you start spending time in this you understand that I cannot create anything you understand that I cannot be happy in this material world you understand I cannot seek pleasure in this material world that's the analogy so it's a mirage and it's a mirage and it is temporary as well manifestation है ना तो manifest and unmanifest है okay yes you have a question yes he's talking about this particular universe Any other questions? लास्ट पैराग्राफ क्वेश्चन, हाँ मुझे भी नहीं समझा वो. So I'll ask that context and get back to you. मैंने वही लिखा है. मतलब what was the context of that? I wanted to know that. So I'll ask that. बाकी सब समझा? हाँ कुलदीप. Any other questions? So I request that आप लोग जब next time आएंगे, when you come next time, please read the second verse, translation and purport also पढ़ के आइए, because then you'll be able to relate. Otherwise you'll be lost. It's a very huge subject matter, and you'll be lost. What I will be speaking, I'll only understand because I have read it multiple times. But not that I have read this text multiple times, but it is like I have while preparing for the session also, I read one text from different angles, and hence there is a clear understanding in my head. But if I have to impart that clear understanding to you, you also need to have some background about it. Otherwise, it will be just going above the head, especially the first three verses, because it's purely philosophy. It's purely philosophy, nothing else. Okay, it's purely philosophy. So, and philosophy doesn't go down very easy. People just daydreaming हो जाता है, daydreaming क्या चल रहा है, reality, absolute, परम, धीमहि goes above. Okay, so थोड़ा पढ़ के आएंगे. If it's pastime, then it's easy. If I tell you the story of Vaman Dev, okay fine, why Vaman Dev appeared, what did he ask, these steps of land, Bali, this, that and all, you remember some story and you will take it back with you. But what will you remember from the first verse and take it back with you? Only when you've read something, made some notes out of it. Otherwise, it will go above the head. Next time when you come again I'll ask you what was mentioned, who gave the knowledge, who spoke the Bhagavatam, what is Abhigya and what is Swarata. You will be like,